This is the Meowma Pawmon Show, live from New York City. Tonight, Duchess and Thomas O'Malley. The hero is the same, but the costume changes. Here's Meowma.
Tonight. We have some very special guests with us tonight, and that's Thomas O'Malley and Duchess from the hit film Aristocats. This movie was based on your memoir that you wrote called A Catastrophe.
Yes, I wrote the memoir about one of the most thrilling times in my life.
So it starts off with you and your kittens living a normal life in a big mansion with your wealthy owner. That was your ordinary world.
That's right. We would sing and paint and play music. It was a very happy time.
Until you were catnapped by Edgar, your family butler. Could you tell us about that?
Edgar was angry that me and my kittens were inheriting first, but he was a fool driven by greed. But in catnapping us, it was almost like a call to grow and know more about life outside the mansion.
They had no choice in the matter. He drugged her and the kittens.
But out of this, you found love in each other. Although, O'Malley, I pegged you for a Lothario at first.
Well, at first, she looked so beautiful, it was purely a romantic endeavor. But when I found out that she had the little kittens, I felt that I needed to help her.
And he did! He was like a mentor to me, and especially the kittens. He not only guided us, but showed us how to survive on our own. We crossed into a new and unfamiliar world where when Edgar left us on our own.
So in a way, he was like a threshold guardian, that you were to go out on this journey, ready or not.
I guess you could look at it that way.
You also had many helpers helping you along the way.
Yes, there was Roughbird, who helped search for us, and Scatcat and his gang of alley cats.
She met them the same night. I fell in love with her.
Tell us about that.
Well, it had been a long day, and the kittens were tired, so we stopped at my place to rest, to regroup a bit before the rest of the journey.
So this was almost the approach to your inmost cave, with some romance.
Well, yes, but we really didn't think it would work out at first. We come from two separate worlds. We were like star-crossed lovers.
How romantic. But going back to Scatcat and his gang, how did they help you?
It was mostly when we arrived home. The door was locked, so the kittens meowed until Edgar let us in.
Then he threw them in a sack and threatened to send them to Timbuktu. Luckily, Roquefort came and got them.
It was my lowest point. I was terrified for my children. It was an abyss. I felt so hopeless.
Thomas, how would you describe your fight with Edgar?
It was an ultimate battle. I was almost killed.
The children and I were able to get free.
Scatcat and his gang showed up and helped us to defeat Edgar.
Yes, and then they put Edgar in a trunk and sent him to Timbuktu.
Duchess, once Edgar was in that trunk and sent off to Timbuktu, how did you feel?
I felt such a relief. I felt safe again, especially after surviving that ordeal. It was my apotheosis.
So after all that, you returned home?
Yes, and I brought Thomas with me. I returned with a newfound knowledge of life. It was me resurrecting as a new, tougher, smarter cat. The old me died in that trunk.
Madam was so good to me, she even created a foundation for all of my fellow strays to live in the mansion. It was an elixir to those cats without a home.
And that greedy Edgar could never hurt us again.
Well, I'm so glad. Thank you again for coming on this show tonight. It was a pleasure to talk with you. Catch me again tomorrow night. I'll be speaking with Chairman Meow. Hello, this is the part of the show when I take calls from our human audience. Our first caller is Hugh Fishman from Cedar Falls, Oklahoma. Hello there, Hugh.
Hi, Meowma. I would like to start by letting you know that I'm a huge fan of yours.
Oh, well, thank you.
I wanted to say that I think it is mystical how in the movie and on your show that you cats are able to talk and work together. I also thought in the movie Aristocats that it was mystical how, that Scat Cat and his friends were able to play instruments.
Yes, it is impressive that Scat Cat has the dexterity to play the trumpet, especially with those paws of his.
Yeah! Lastly, I think a human's place in the world is to care for their cats, and cats are meant to bring their owners happiness, like Duchess and Madam.
What a cosmological thought, Hugh. Thanks for calling. Okay, I think we have another caller on the line. We have a Googlina Mafioso from Trinket, Oregon. Hello, Googlina.
Hi, Meowma. I wanted to comment on how the other cats were treated like vermin in the movie, but the Aristocats were treated like royalty.
Well, I agree, Googlina, that it is very sociological in that in society, we treat people with more money and more possessions with more respect.
Mm-hmm. And greed will only lead to your downfall.
Exactly. Edgar from Aristocats is a good example of the pedagogical function of the movie in that his greed led him to lose his job and he is punished by being shipped off to Timbuktu. So thanks for calling, Googlina. And lastly, I would like to finish the show with a quote by Joseph Campbell. Perhaps some of us have to go through the dark and devious ways before we can find the river of peace or high road to the soul's destination. Duchess and her kittens had to go through the alleys of Paris to make it home to their loving owner and mansion, which would be their peace or high road. But pretty much, good night, everybody. I'll see you tomorrow night. And don't forget, we have Chairman Meow.